Bruce Lee is a legendary martial artist, cultural icon from the past, and his life is one of training, martial arts, philosophy, exploration. In today's video, I will be discussing some of Bruce Lee's training methods, what we can learn and utilize and put into our training. Bruce was an incredibly curious person. He explored a vast variety of practices and methods over his lifetime, and his approach to training was one not of a set system, but rather it was of utilizing many different methods. He explored many disciplines, and his approach was to find what worked, to discard what was not working, and to have a combination of systems to improve his martial arts abilities. So here's a quote from Bruce Lee. He said, "Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own." One, weightlifting program. Now, Bruce was a pioneer for martial artists at the time for incorporating and including strength training, weightlifting, to improve athletic performance. Now, at the time, this was very uncommon. A lot of martial artists and people in sports didn't do strength training. They entirely focused on the skill development, but didn't focus on other things that can help their skills. Bruce did this. He experimented with weight training. There is a report of Bruce training at Hak Kung Gym, and he followed this program, a weight training program, in 1965. So this program was full body, but it incorporated a lot of arms, very, hand and forearm and bicep dominant, which makes sense as a martial artist. Martial arts need to have strong grips, strong hands, so that makes sense. He also did squats and pressing movements like the bench press, so he didn't totally neglect his full body. Another thing is he prioritized compound movements. He prioritized doing exercises that increased strength and power throughout the whole body. This program that we have of Bruce doing was most likely a starting program, one that he began using and then changed as time progressed based off his results. So Bruce took a lot of inspiration from bodybuilders of the time. He studied old-time strongmen and learned their practices and what they used back in like the 20s and 30s. So he was a ferocious reader. He did a lot of research on many different strength training systems and took what was useful from them. Bruce's main goal with weight training was to improve his power and explosiveness rather than simply build muscle. Since as a martial artist, he wanted to minimize muscle gain but maximize strength and power output. 2. Isometric training. Now, Bruce experimented with a form of training called overcoming isometrics. Now, what is overcoming isometrics? What it is you're pushing or pulling against an immovable object or force. Now, overcoming isometrics help develop neural drive, force production, and strength. Another benefit is that overcoming isometrics help develop strength and power without developing excessive muscle. It's a great way to get very, very strong without getting big. This is ideal for the martial artist because as a martial artist, it is better to be lighter and to increase your power and keep that speed, keep that efficiency, keep that quickness. Overcoming isometrics was a valuable tool in his toolkit to improve his martial arts ability. Okay, so this exercise is an overcoming isometric one you could do with a towel. So you grab a towel by both ends, you stand in the center, and you do a deadlift essentially, and you exert yourself maximum effort for about 5 seconds. And you want to do this for about 3 sets. Okay, here's another exercise you can do. This is a wall push. So this is another overcoming isometric. You push the wall as hard as you can 5 to 6 seconds, hard as you can, maximum effort. Number 3, cardiovascular endurance. Cardio is immensely important to Bruce Lee's training. To martial artists, it is usually the fighter who has better cardio, the one who can last longer, not get tired, is the fighter who will win the conflict. So there's no point in being fast and explosive if you exhaust yourself in 30 seconds. Now, Bruce Lee incorporated a lot of running into his routine. So he would run about 3 days a week, and he would run about 4 to 5 miles. And the way that he would do his running is that he would run at a steady state, but then he would increase his intensity to a sprint for 30 seconds, and then he would bring back down the intensity to a jog. And he would do this alternation of intensity throughout his run. Now, this is basically high intensity interval training, which is popular now, which is sprint and then walk and then sprint and then walk. It's essentially what he was doing way back in the 60s before I think that was even a thing. So that is what he would do. Bruce was also a big practitioner of jumping rope. Now, he believed that jumping rope would keep him light on his feet, maintain his speed, improve his speed actually, and his coordination. So, jumping rope was another very valuable practice that Bruce would do to develop his cardiovascular endurance. Number 4, core training. Now, Bruce is known for his famous abs. His abs were visually, he was super cut, super lean, but the way he developed those abs was through high intensity training of them on a daily basis. Now, Bruce would train his abs reportedly every single day. And I'm going to put a text of his routine. So, this is his routine that he did. Quite a lot of volume for his abdominal muscles, but it makes sense as a martial artist. The core is extremely important. To have a strong, rigid core transfers to your ability to generate power and to take blows. So here's his routine. I highly recommend trying his routines and developing your core. Method number 5, martial arts skill training. Now, Bruce's priority was always his martial arts skills, his abilities. All other styles of training were merely a, a way to improve his athletic performance in his martial arts discipline. So, something that Bruce would do is shadow boxing. Shadow boxing was a crucial practice for him to develop his strikes and his kicks. Now, shadow boxing, anyone can do. You don't have to be a professional fighter. You just learn some basic strikes like the jab, like the cross, like the hook, uppercut, and you practice that. Do that for 5 to 10 minutes. Bruce talked about shadow boxing that when you shadow box, you want to visualize your opponent in front of you and visualize them performing, doing strikes. So, doing a cross, doing a hook, and you see this in your mind as you're shadow boxing and react. You react to as how he moves. So, if he throws a jab, you go down, you throw a hook to the body or an uppercut, or you practice your movement. So he really emphasized the importance of using your mind to create that enemy when you're shadow boxing. Make it as real as possible and really get into that practice. That'll help develop your shadow boxing, improve your movement, your speed. So, yeah, I recommend shadow boxing 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. Practice your moves and give that a try. All right, there you go, guys. That is the training styles and methods of Bruce Lee. Try out some methods, try out some techniques, see if it works for you. And thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. More content coming soon.